everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back, and thank you for supporting me. I'm Coretta. Today, I'll be showing how I made this really cute shirt by creating a scattered effect rhinestone template. To create the template, I will be using Silhouette Studio Business Edition. For reference, the Silhouette Studio Designer Edition and above includes the rhinestone feature. So let's get started. Okay, since it's football season, I want to create a really cute shirt to wear when I go out to watch the football games. So I went to Google and I found an image of the Dallas Cowboys star logo. You can also use fonts or words to create the scattered effect as well. But today, I'm going to be using this logo that I've already traced and detached to get the layers that I will be using. Next, I size my design so that once I finish adding the scattered effect, the design would be the exact size I wanted it to be so that it can fit on my shirt. Now, the way that you work with the scattered effect is that it is a combination of lines and spacing between your rhinestones. With the scattered effect, you start out close and then your design gets further apart and your rhinestones will get further apart. So what I'm going to do is put an offset around my outer star and increase the space between the outer star and the offset. I'm going to increase each of my offsets in increments of 0.075. So let's move the inner star over to the side, and I'm going to begin adding offsets. So to add an offset, you would select your offset panel, and then on the offset panel is the icon that looks like a little star right here. So you would select your offset panel, select your design, and then on the offset panel, you notice that there are two different types of offsets. You have offset and then you have internal offset. I'm going to select offset, and that's going to put an offset on my outer star. Next, I'm going to set my distance to 0.225, and you can set your distance by moving the slider bar right here or typing it in. So I typed my distance in. The distance that you put depends on how close you want your rhinestones to the main design. So for my design, I want them close, but not really close. So I'm going to set my distance at 0.225, and then I'm going to select the round corner, and then I hit enter to preview, and then I'm going to hit apply. Next, I will move the outer star from the inside of the offset, and then I will right click, release, select the offset, right click, and release compound. Then I will delete the inner part of the offset because I don't want that part. I do this so that when I add additional offsets, it will only put an offset on the outside because Silhouette will see this offset as a solid object. So now I'm going to select the offset and repeat the steps, excuse me, and repeat the steps in the same way, adding offsets, but increasing them in size. So I will select the offset, and then I will hit offset. I will change my distance on this offset to 300, hit enter to preview. I'm going to select the round corner, and then I'm going to hit apply. Now, the last offset that we created is still selected. And as you can see, it has gotten further away from the first offset. And so what we're going to do is we're going to continue to add an offset. So I'm going to select offset again. This time I'm going to change it to 0.375. So I have 0.375. I'm going to hit enter to preview. I'm going to select the round corner and then I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to select offset again and I'm going to change my distance to 0.450, enter to preview, and then I'm going to apply. And then I'm going to select offset again and I'm going to change this offset to 0.525, enter to preview, the round corner, and apply. Now remember, these offsets and distances that I am doing is based on my design that I have chosen. You may want to alter the distance between your offsets based on your design or your shape, but the principle of the scattered method will still be the same. So now that we have added our offsets, we can start adding our rhinestones. I will select the Rhinestone panel that is on the bottom right-hand toolbar, and it looks like a jewel and should be near the bottom right of your screen. If it's not, then you can select this little option here and it'll open up a side window. But my jewel is here at the bottom of my screen. So I'm going to select this rhinestone panel. On this panel, we have 4 rhinestone effects. We have none, we have edge, we have lineal, and we have radial. Then you have your rhinestone size. You have 6SS, 10SS, 16SS, and 20SS. Also, you have spacing. The default spacing for rhinestones is 0.039, and this determines the spacing between your rhinestones. We have a freehand option where you can freehand your rhinestone placements. Then there's a release rhinestone option. And with this option, you can ungroup the rhinestones and the rhinestones will become an individual circle. At the bottom here, you have the rhinestone counter. And this section here lets you know how many rhinestones you will need for your project. Here on the rhinestone panel, I will select my first offset, and then I'm going to select edge. I'm going to select 10SS, and I'm going to change my spacing to 0.100, and I'm going to hit enter to apply it. I'm going to then select my second offset, and I'm going to select edge. I'm going to select 10SS, and I'm going to change my spacing to 200. So it's going to be 0.200. Enter. I'm going to select my third offset. I'm going to select edge. I'm going to select 10SS, and I'm going to change my spacing to 0.350, and I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to select my fourth offset. I'm going to select edge. I'm going to select 10SS, and I'm going to change my spacing to 0.500, and I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to select my last offset, and I'm going to select edge 10SS, and I'm going to change this to 0.525. And then, not 525, I'm sorry, 0.550. And I'm going to hit enter. So now I'm done creating the scattered effect. And as you can see, with each offset, when I change the spacing between the rhinestones got further and further apart. And so now you can see here that I have the scattered effect. If you want to create, if you want to add additional rhinestones to your design, you can just select your design, release the rhinestones, and they each become individual circles. You would take a circle, select a circle, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and then you can put your circle anywhere you want to put an additional circle. And you would just, again, Control V to copy, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. And you can just put additional rhinestones any place that you want. So, but I won't add any more rhinestones because I like the way my design looks now. So I'm going to select all of my rhinestones that have been released, and I am going to group them back together. Now, I want my entire design to be rhinestones. So I'm going to convert all pieces to my design to rhinestones. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the outer star, and I'm going to select edge. I'm going to select 10SS, and then I'm going to change my spacing to 0.025 and enter. Now here I can see that I need to fix some of my rhinestones because they're out of place here, and then there's a lot of spacing here. So I'm going to move this over a little bit, and then I'm going to zoom in so that we can see. And to fix these rhinestones, I'm going to select my design. I'm going to hit release rhinestones, and it's going to turn again all of the rhinestones into individual circles. And then I am just going to, with my arrow key, move my stones so that I can fix and place the rhinestones so that they're not out of place or they don't look out of place. I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to move it over, move this one, move them over. Keep it in mind not to make them touch each other, because when you cut out your template, you want it to cut in a solid space. So here I'm going to copy and paste because I want to place a stone here to fill in that gap right there. And then I want to move this stone a little so that I can get this stone in place. And I'm going to add a stone right here as well so I can fill in the gap of the stone right here, because there's like a big gap right there. And so I'm going to select the star, copy and paste, and I'm going to put a rhinestone right there, and I'm going to put a rhinestone right here, but I'm going to fix the spacing on here so that they're not touching each other. have one more space that I think I'm going to fix. And it's going to be this space here. And I'm just going to put that rhinestone in that space there and move this one down a little bit. There. So I'm going to go out and see how I like my design now. So I like the way that looks. And then I'm just going to select all the rhinestones and I'm going to group them together. Then I'm going to put it into the scattered effect so I can see how that looks. So I'm just going to position it into the scattered effect. Next, I'm going to add rhinestones to this layer here. So I'm going to select the layer. I'm going to select lineal and I'm going to select 10SS and I'm going to leave my spacing on 0.025. I'm going to zoom in to see if there's anything that I would change. I'm going to select it. I'm going to release the rhinestones and I'm going to fix this little rhinestone area right here. Just a little bit, just moving it a tad bit. Not a lot because I don't want it to lose the shape of the star. So that was the only thing that I see I needed to fix. So I'm going to select all of my rhinestones again and then I'm going to group them. And then I'm going to zoom out. And then I'm going to move this into my scattered effect. So we can see what that looks like. So we can get the real effect. I'm going to change the color of the scattered effect because I know that I want to use crystal rhinestones. And so I'm going to change the color of the rhinestones so that I can see exactly what my design looks like. And so I'm going to zoom out, not that far, sorry guys. I'm going to zoom out and as you can see, we have the scattered effect. So I've made all my adjustments and then I am pretty satisfied with the way that my design looks. Now that I have my design the way that I want it to look when I place it on my shirt, it's time to prep my design to cut. Now, I designed this in Silhouette Studio, but I don't have a Cameo cutting machine. I have a Cricut Explore Air 2. So to prep this to cut in Cricut Explore Air 2, I want my design, as you can see, my design is 2 colors. So to prep this to cut in Cricut Design Space with my Cricut machine, I need to make this design 2 layers. And to make it 2 layers, let me step back for a minute. To cut this in Cricut, I need to make this design an SVG. And to do that, I am going to make my SVG 2 layers because I want to I want my design to be in crystal rhinestones and blue rhinestones. So what I'm going to do is I am going to move the blue part out of the way, off to the side, and I am going to select all of my rhinestones. I am going to go back to my Rhinestone panel and I am going to select Release Rhinestones. And it's going to turn all of the rhinestones into individual circles, as you can see. I'm going to make sure all of my rhinestones are selected again, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to group them. Once they are grouped, I am going to right click again and I'm going to make a compound path. And as you can see, it changed colors. So I'm just going to change the color back to the silver to represent the crystal rhinestones. And then I am going to select my blue stones and I am going to go back to my rhinestone panel and I'm going to release rhinestones. So all of my rhinestones are released. I'm going to make sure that all of my rhinestones are selected. I am going to right click and group them back together. Then I'm going to right click again and make a compound path. Again, it has changed the color. And so I'm just going to go ahead and change the color to blue and change the lines to no lines. And then now I'm going to put my blue layer back into my scattered effect, like so. So I've positioned my design back together. I'm going to select my entire design and I am going to group it together. Now, to upload this into Cricut Design Space, like I said, you have to turn this design into an SVG file. So, to turn this design into an SVG file, you are going to go to your upper left-hand corner and select File. You're going to select Save As, and then you're going to select Save to Hard Drive. You're going to locate where you want your design to go. You are going to name your design, and I'm going to name this design Star Logo Scattered. I am going to change my Save As type to SVG, and then I'm going to hit OK. Okay. So let's open up Cricut Design Space. And we are going to upload into Cricut the SVG that we created in Silhouette Studio. So to upload Cricut, again, we will start with a blank canvas. We will go to Upload. We will go to Upload Image. We will go to Browse. We will find the design that we created. So we will find our SVG and then we will select the SVG and then hit Open or OK. So it uploads as a cut image file and we will hit Upload. On the recent upload, we will select our design and hit Add to Canvas. And as you can see in our layers panel, we have 2 layers that we have here. And so you want to make sure that when your design uploaded into Cricut Design Space, because Cricut sometimes will not upload your design in the exact size that you created it in or that it was created in. And so you have to make sure that the sizing is correct. So according to Silhouette Studio, our design is, zoom in so we can see, our design should be 10.880 in width and 10.328 in height. And so we're going to go back to Cricut Design Space and we're going to check the width and the height. So the width says that it's 10.879 and 10.327. It's a little off, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock the proportion, and then I'm going to change the width to 10.880, and it should proportionally size our template. So I'm going to hit enter, and it was a small difference in change, nothing big, nothing jumped out, but we can see that the height also changed to 10.328. So now we have our design the exact size that it was when we finished designing it at 10.880 and 10.328. So once the template is sized correctly, we're going to go to make it. On this screen here, there is no changes to be made because I will be using the transfer tape to transfer the rhinestones from the template to the shirt. But as you can see, because I have two colors, I have two different mats. So this is the crystal stones and this is the blue stones. For me, it's easier to cut my designs in my two color designs or my multicolored designs in the colors that I will be using. So I'm going to cut the crystal stones on one template and the blue stones on another template. Okay, so then I see that I have the two mats. I'm going to select continue. And on this screen is where I would select my material and cut my template. Now, I already have two videos on how to cut, what material settings to use, how to brush in the rhinestones, and apply them to the shirt. So I won't be going through those steps. However, I will leave those links at the end of the video and also in the description bar so that you can follow the steps on how to create your shirt. All right, guys, that's all for now. I hope that you were able to follow along with my process. If you like this video and would like to see more, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will respond back. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.